So I think here, last time we had looked at simplifying the sets, but now today we are going to look at something which is known as rationalizing the denominator, or which we can say rationalization of the denominator. So it's another part of mathematics which is so interesting, and you'll be able to see that it is also very, very interesting, like the ones which we had gone through together. So together, let us first go through this. The heading, first write rationalization of the denominator. Yes, first write it. I expect you to be time conscious, and then we move together, because you must be having a pen, your book, calculator, or even you may have also mathematical tables, if possible. So I hope we have written the rationalization of the denominator. It is in sets. The topic is still sets. So let us first look at the first statement there. You are seeing on your screen. The statement says a number such as 1 over root of 2 can easily be evaluated by first expressing it with a rational denominator. So when you look at this number here, 1 out of root 2, this number is not, or this number here, it has a denominator which is irrational. So if we are required to evaluate it, we are supposed to make this denominator to become rational. And when we make it rational, then we will be able to evaluate the whole of this number, which is 1 divided by 1 divided by root 2. So let us go through it together. So after that, we are saying the process of converting an irrational denominator, like there you see in this case, the process of converting an irrational denominator to a rational one is known as rationalization. Okay? Take note of it very, very well, that the process of converting an irrational denominator to a rational one is known as rationalization. So that's why we are saying rationalization of the denominator. This is what we are going to look at today specifically. So let us see, we are going to see how to rationalize a denominator. Okay, so we may be given a denominator which is not rational, so we are supposed to convert it to rational, and that process is the one known as rationalization. So let us simply go to the first example. Example 1 here says evaluate the following. I expect all of you to be writing example 1, evaluate the following, and I'm giving out on your screen, you can be able to see A and B. So they want us to rationalize these ones here, or they are saying evaluate. But remember, we said if we are to evaluate this number here, then we are supposed to rationalize the denominator. Okay, so even if they don't tell us that you rationalize and have said evaluate, we are supposed to do the same. So we have A, which is 1 divided by root of 2. That is A. Then B, we have 12 divided by root of 18. But remember here that I've said, given that root 2, remember root 2 is irrational. We don't have exact value of root 2. So we are given here so that it will assist us when we are getting the answer, the final answer. So we have here the first examples A and B. Let us go to solution. So there you can go to see solution. We are supposed to move together. So make sure we don't leave you behind. So let us go to A. A is 1 out of root of 2. 1 out of root 2. we want to evaluate 1 out of root 2. The question is how. If we are to evaluate 1 out of root 2, remember root 2, when you check out this denominator here, root 2 has no exact value. It's not like root 4. It's not like root of 16. Okay? So this one is irrational. That's why we have to follow the process of rationalization. Now, what do I do when we are required to evaluate such a number? We are supposed to multiply that denominator by itself. Like, for example, the denominator is root 2. So therefore, multiply that root 2 by itself. That is the root 2 times root 2. But also do the same on the numerator, 1 times root 2. Okay, multiply the numerator also by that value which you have multiplied on the denominator. So when we are doing like this, we are rationalizing, or we are converting an irrational denominator to a rational one, like that. So the first step, we have multiplied the denominator and the numerator by root of 2. Let us check step 3. Step 3, what do we get? You'll find that from step 2, 1 times root 2, we get root of what? 2. That's on the denominator. Then when check at the denominator, you'll find that on the denominator we are getting root of 2 times root of 2. So when you are multiplying these two ones here, what do you get? Remember, both of them are having roots. So therefore, it will be root of 2 times 2, which will give root of 4. So that's why in this step here, we are writing the denominator as root of what? Of 4. Okay, clearly? So that is our step 2. Now let us check step 3. Step 3, you'll find out that root of 2, which is on the denominator, on the numerator, just leave it the way it is, because a lot of focus should be at the denominator. So now the question is, what is root of 4? Root of 4 is 2. You can also check on your calculator. You find that root of 4 is what? 2. So now you'll find that when we arrive at this step here, our denominator is now a rational number. So therefore, we have simplified it. But remember, the question said evaluate the following. So meaning we are not supposed to stop there. They gave us the value of root of 2, which is 1.4142. So therefore, we are supposed to go ahead and then we substitute. Where root of 2, substitute there 1.4142. But remember, the denominator is already rational, so which is 2. So 1.4142 divided by 2. And what is the answer on your calculator? You find that the answer is 0.7071. So that is the answer to part A. Okay, so all this we have gone through a process known as rationalization. So we are able to get this answer only and only by the process known as rationalization. Remember, they can tell you not to use a calculator. So meaning we are only limited to use this method. Let us check B. B, we are given 12 divided by root of 18. 12 divided by root of 18. So when you check at this one here, still the denominator is irrational. Our focus should be at the denominator. So how do we simplify that denominator such that it becomes rational? So we can take any, because in the mathematics there are many ways, we can just take any root. It will lead us to a correct answer. So basically for me, I can just look at that root of 18. 18. I look at 18. Within 18, which two factors of 18? One of them is a square number. while the other one, it may not be a square what number. So my brain will tell me that within 18, there's 9 times 2. And when I multiply 9 times and 2, you go back to 18. So therefore, I can go to the first step there. Where 18 is, I write 9 times 2. But the numerator, leave it the way it is because we don't have any much work on it. So after that, look at the denominator still. Root of 9 times 2. So when you check at them, that root affects both 9 and 2. Therefore, our next step will be 12 divided by root 9 times root 2. Why? Because that root is affecting both 9 and 2. Both of them are inside the root or the square root. So therefore, on your next step, you have to separate them so that you say root of 9 times root of what? 2. Then after that, on our next step, who can predict the answer there or what we are going to get there? Yes, you will find that there it will be, the numerator still remain 12, but now root of 9, yes, that one gives a rational number, which is 3. So root of 9, it is 3. But some of you forget and you maintain root 3. That's a mistake. Root of 9 is just 3. So don't make that mistake there. Then root of 2, it is irrational. So leave it like that. You don't need to simplify it there. First, leave it like that for this step. Now, before we go to the next step, check at 12 and 3. 12 on the numerator and then 3 on the denominator. I think there's a common factor, which is 3. So reduce 12 by 3 and then 3 by 3. You find that we get what? 4 divided by what? Root of 2. So 12 divided by 3 by 3 by 3, there we get 4. And then on the denominator, we remain with root of what? 2. Then after that, we can now rationalize, all right? We can rationalize our denominator because still root 2 is irrational. It is not rational. Therefore, let us rationalize. And how do we rationalize? If we are to rationalize that denominator, we are supposed to multiply that denominator by itself. Okay? And we multiply it by itself, and then again we multiply the numerator by what we have multiplied on the what? On the denominator. So therefore, our new step there, it will be on the numerator, it will be 4 times root of 2. And then on the denominator, it will be root of 2 times root of 2. So what we are doing here, it is rationalization. So, and after rationalizing there, we are going to get a denominator which is now rational. So let us check on the next step. 4 times root 2, we get 4 root 2. Okay? 4 times root 2, we get 4 root 2. And then root 2 times root 2, we get root of what? 4. Clear? So after that, after understanding that, we can go to another one. The next step to be 4 root 2, which is on the numerator. And then on the denominator, 4, root of 4 is 2. Yeah, so root of 4 is 2. So you check, you find out that on the numerator there's 4 and then denominator there's 2. So there's a common factor in both of them. So the common factor is 2. Therefore, we can reduce them by 2 on the numerator, by 2 1 on the denominator. So that there we get 2 root of what? 2. So we get there 2 root of 2. And what do we get there? Remember, root of 2, they gave us its value up there before we came to this solution. So it was 1.4142. So 2 times 1.4142, the answer is 2.8284. So that is the answer. We have evaluated D, and the answer is 2.8284. So try to write down all this work here so that we move together. Yes, remember mathematics, it is step by step. You don't just jump steps. You're supposed to flow step by step so that you don't miss out any. Right, so after going through this, I'll lead you to another example there. Our example here, this is example 2, they're saying simplify root 5 divided by 2 root 3 by rationalizing the denominator. Here they have said simplify. So we are going to see how to simplify this. Let us check at solution. Of course, after writing down the example, the question, we can together go to the solution. And our solution there, this is what we are given, root of 5 divided by 2 root of 3. Yes, how do we simplify this? When you look at the denominator, there is 2 root of 3. 2 root 3. 2 is rational, but root 3 is the irrational number. So meaning that if we are to simplify this, then we are supposed to rationalize that denominator. And how do we rationalize this denominator? We have to get that irrational number which is on the denominator. We multiply it on the denominator and then we multiply it on the numerator. So therefore on the numerator it will be root of 5 times root 3. Then on the denominator it is 2 root 3 times root what? 3. So you find that what we are doing here, we are rationalizing. And this is our first what? Step. Yes, after that, step 2, root of 5 times root of 3 on the numerator. There it will be root into 5 times 3. Why? Because from the previous step, you find that root 5 and root 3, yes, both of they are identical. They are in the same 3 and 5, they are in the same what? They are all under a square root. So therefore, we can be able to just create a single root and then we multiply them. Then on the denominator, it was 2 root 3 times root 3. So therefore here it will be 2 root of 3 times 3, which leads us to root of 9. So here we have root of 5 times 3 on the numerator, and then on the denominator, it is 2 root of 9. So you can be able to see where we are getting the 9. Root of 9 we are getting from root 3 times root what? 3. Yes, that is our step 2. Then step 3, let us go to read together. You find from our previous step, the numerator we had root of 5 times 3. So when you multiply 5 times 3, in our new step, you find that it becomes root of 15. Then on the denominator, it was 2 root of 9. So here we are going to write 2 times 3. Why? Because 3, it is the value of root of 9. Then after that, what do we get there? We get root of 15 divided by 6. And this 6 is coming from 2 times what? 3. And this is our simplified answer. Okay? That is our simplified answer there. Because for this case, they just wanted us to do what? To simplify. So that's why we have just written there and do like that. So having gone through these 2 examples here, I'll just lead you direct to a simple assignment or activity or exercise, okay? Whichever way you may call it. So in our activities here today, I think I'll give you some simple numbers here. 1, express the following with rational denominators, okay? Rational denominators. They will expect you to rationalize the denominators, okay? So how I'm giving you these nice numbers from A up to H, okay? A we have 2 divided by root 3, B we have 2 divided by root of 6, C it is 1 over root of 5, D we have root of 2 divided by root of 3, E it is 10 divided by root of 2. Yes, they are very cheap. And then F 3 divided by 2 root of 5. And then G it is 3 divided by root of 10. And then lastly H, we have H divided by root of 12. So they want you to just express them with rational denominators. So they don't just simplifying them, but your focus should be at rationalizing the denominators. Now, having gone through 1, I'll also take you to 2, number 2. Now, number 2, I'll expect you to evaluate the following without using a calculator. So I expect you to go through them, and of course you'll forward them for what? For marking. So thank you for being attentive. Yeah, so we shall just proceed from there.